Hi there. Several other people have also asked, what is the greatest sin? Let's find out, shall we? You'll also discover more on our website, gotquestions.org. No sin is greater than another sin in the eternal sense. All sin separates us from God, and all sin needs to be atoned for. Also, there is no greatest sin
in the sense of mortal and venial sins.
as the Catholic Church teaches. All sins are mortal sins, in that even one sin makes the offender worthy of spiritual death and eternal separation from God. At the same time, the Bible does state that on the day of judgment, some sins will merit greater punishment than others. Jesus also referred to one sin being a, quote, greater sin, although not the greatest. He said that the one who handed him over to Pilate was guilty of the greater sin. Jesus meant that the guilt of the person who delivered him to Pilate was greater than Pilate's guilt because of the deliberate and cold act of handing Jesus over, especially after seeing the evidence pointing unmistakably to him as the Messiah and the Son of God. That sin was greater than that of those who were ignorant of him. This could indicate that those who have been given the knowledge of Jesus as the Son of God and still reject him would be subject to a greater punishment than those who remain ignorant of him. If you were blind, you would not be guilty of sin, but now that you claim you can see, your guilt remains. These incidents, however, do not prove that one sin is the, quote, greatest sin of all. Proverbs contains a catalog of the 7 sins God hates and are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. But none of the 7 are identified as a greater sin than any of the others, and none are identified as the greatest sin. Although the Bible doesn't name any one sin as the greatest sin, it does refer to the unpardonable sin, which is the sin of unbelief. There is no pardon for a person who dies in unbelief. The Bible is clear that God provided the means of eternal salvation, Jesus' death, for whoever believes in him. In conclusion, the only condition under which forgiveness would not be granted concerns those who reject the only means of salvation. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." To reject the only means of salvation is unpardonable, and, in that sense, is the greatest sin of all. That answers your question, what is the greatest sin? On our website, gotquestions.org, you'll find an in-depth article with citations and resource suggestions. If this helped you as much as it did others, we'd invite you to subscribe and thumbs up this video. Meanwhile, if you'd like to study more, ring the bell and check out these other questions.